Now to today's focus. And in India, the consumption of alcohol claims one life every 96 minutes. Now, though, with a rise not just in the mortality rate because of it, but also in alcohol-related violence, women are at the forefront of a war against alcohol in the country. Well, earlier this year, a third Indian state began to enforce a partial or total ban on alcohol, despite the high amount of money raised by selling it. Well, France 24's Nathalie Heydel and Mandakini Ghalot have this report.
She's 85 years old, but still works for a living. In India, where the elderly are usually supported by their male family members, Mayasima has little choice.
My husband was an alcoholic. He died 3 years ago. I live with my eldest son, but he's an alcoholic too, and he doesn't help me.
Most of the men in her family, including her younger son and grandson, are now gone. She believes addiction to alcohol was the primary cause of not just their death, but also their violent behavior.
My husband used to beat his own parents as well until they died. Together we had 2 sons. They also became violent alcoholics.
Alcohol addiction hung over her family like a curse. But she's not the only one. In this small village in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, Mayasima's story resonates with many women, all of them widows and mothers.
We meet regularly here to discuss and find solutions for our problems.
Over the last decade, 12% of the village's male population lost their lives to a spiral of debt, depression, liver diseases, and other causes attributed to alcoholism. Most of them died before the age of 30.
We have to face so many difficulties because of alcohol. We want the government to close the Tasmac shops.
Tasmac, a state-controlled alcohol vendor, is the only agency permitted to operate liquor stores in Tamil Nadu. With over 6,700 shops in the state, they are a household name that offers convenient services like credit and free home delivery. Of the state's 69 million people, 10 million are alcoholics, according to prohibition campaigners. In June, the state government announced a partial ban on alcohol, starting with the closing of 500 Tasmac shops in the vicinity of schools like this one.
If any of your parents drink alcohol, you should advise them not to. It's very harmful.
These children are tragically aware of the havoc that alcohol has caused in their communities.
This is how the liquor's made. That's the man who makes it. Because of him, many families in the village are ruined.
In a state where men are increasingly losing the battle to alcohol and the police are happy to turn a blind eye, it's the women who have taken up the fight. Roja is an anti-alcohol activist in Chennai, the state capital. Her personal struggle with a violent alcoholic husband left her angry.
My husband became addicted to alcohol when he was young. I thought I could change him, but he only became worse. I faced many problems. Once he even beat me when I was pregnant and I lost that child.
With nothing left to lose, Roja became a vocal supporter of the ban against alcohol. She keeps a stern eye on the illicit sale of alcohol in this area.
See that woman? She runs a shop selling rice balls, but in fact she sells alcohol as well. She's one of the main illicit vendors in this neighborhood.
She will pass on the information to the state police, who are responsible for enforcing the law. She hopes they will act on her tip-off, but they rarely do. The next day, we meet Roja again. Like her, scores of women in this neighborhood are angry about the easy availability of alcohol. Today, they're protesting against the local Tasmac store.
Women are suffering here on a daily basis because of this shop. You have to close it. We submitted so many petitions. You should respect women, not this shop.
Incredibly, it's the women who are arrested and detained for a day.
Can you tell us why they got arrested?
They're not authorized to protest here.
A week later, the state agreed to shut down that particular Tasmac store in response to the women's protest. In 2015, revenue from alcohol shops accounted for 35% of the state's total earnings. Closing more shops will result in revenue loss that the state will find hard to swallow.
Mandakini, Ghalot and Nathalie Heydel reporting there for today's Focus. That's all for the moment. More news coming up. Just a few seconds' time, though, of course, here on France 24. So don't go away.